911, what's your emergency?
My house is on fire, but my entire watch collection is upstairs. 1 second, I'll get the kids and the dog in a minute. I just need to grab my watch. I've been alive for 26 years and I've been very fortunate enough to not have to live through anything like this. That scenario that just played out, that's probably never going to happen. Let's be honest here, whether you own one watch or 50 watches, if you have loved ones in the house, a wife, kids, even your dog, I can assure you, you are grabbing those things first and getting them to safety before your watch. I've done quite a few fire restorations at this point, and everybody that I've spoken to, they've always said the same exact thing. Peter, I'll be honest with you, I forgot I owned a watch. Well, that's plain and simply because your life, your loved one's life, is worth a lot more than a timepiece. That could all be replaced. Your life cannot. Now, fires in general are very unpredictable and it's something you can't really account for. This is why you really should invest in a fire-rated safe. And unfortunately, this is the new project being brought to the channel. Now, this specific timepiece was not involved in an actual house fire. Obviously, it has fire damage, and I'll tell you guys the full story as I heard it from the original owner. But for now, let's take a closer look at this very badly burned Rolex GMT Master, and let's get into the new project. And there you have it, ladies and gents. So now, as the story was told to me, this particular client, he had this watch sitting in a drawer for well over 20 years. Multiple other watchmakers over the years have taken a look at this thing and said it's not possible to be repaired. Now, him and his son were actually burning some paper, and unfortunately, his son, he was younger at the time, he threw this watch into the roaring flames. Now, by the morning, he couldn't find his watch, and well, left behind in the pile of ash was this Rolex GMT Master. So not quite a house fire, however, you could clearly see this fire was hot enough to really do some damage. Look at the inner clasp blades here, look at the color of the metal. It was definitely hot enough in some points to start and discolor this metal. If you've ever seen titanium heat up, we have that nice blue, gold, green, purple effect here. I honestly think it looks pretty cool. But of course, I'm not leaving it like this. Now, even the sides of the case, we see some pitting. This could just be from general wear and tear. I don't think the fire was hot enough to really start distorting metal. But even the inside of the buckle, the bracelet, when these things sit, they tend to collect rust. And unfortunately, that is my biggest fear here, the hands. You could just see how hot the flames got, that it completely made them bend out of shape. All the luminescence is gone. However, we still have some of the original text on the dial, which is very, very cool. But enough talking about how cool this thing looks. We need to restore it. Let's start breaking this thing down. Now, luckily, the spring bars here, they were not locked up. This is the 6 o'clock side of the mid case, which houses the serial number. Now, this is a 8 million serial, which roughly puts this watch at a production date of 1984 to 1985. Now, flipping the case around to the 12 o'clock side, this is where we will see our reference number. To this point, the client doesn't know what it is, and I don't know what it is. So let's try and get this side of the bracelet off. One side of the spring bar is perfectly fine, but this side is completely locked up. I had to hit it with a hammer, and ultimately, that just ruined the spring bar. There was nothing I could do here. It was completely locked up. These end links, they look okay, but now let's see what reference this is. Wow, just look at how hot the mid case got. Look at how blue it is in there. I don't know why. I think this looks cool. I don't know. You guys let me know down in the comments. Should I almost just leave it like this and just get it back up and running? I think this would just be a cool daily piece. Now, I'm sure there's a few people watching this video right now as I move this watch around on the bench, and they're going, that thing is too far gone. And I'm here to tell you it is not too far gone. A lot of this damage is just aesthetic, and I've seen a lot of guys on YouTube do fake fire restoration videos, and it's just night and day differences. And a lot of this stuff can be chemically stripped off. But while yes, this can be restored, is it financially worth it? Does it make sense? You have to factor in the time being put into this thing, all the parts cost, all the work, absolutely everything. And honestly, at some point you start throwing good money at bad. Unless there's major sentimental value here, sometimes it's just not worth it. Just because in the end, after all the money you spend, the watch isn't even worth it, or at least it's worth the same. So it's not like there's a huge payday doing projects like this. Now, I risked my own money to purchase this watch from the original owner after 20 plus years of it sitting in a drawer. And I have done plenty of restorations like this. However, this one is different because parts are damn near impossible to find. and this watch needs a lot of them. So not only are the parts very expensive, they are very rare to find, and they're going to take me a hell of a long time to finally find each and every one and put this thing back together. Well, now we know our reference number, we know our rough production date, and well, I just got hit with a ton of bricks because these parts are not cheap. They're not cheap. All right, take a look at this insert. The heat just basically causes this thing to shrivel up and actually crack. It's so distorted, but this is something I would actually like to save. The movement, on the other hand, unfortunately, time got the best of it here. Now, I'm sure when this first happened, it would be a lot easier to replace all these parts, or at least clean them up, but I think this movement is a little bit too far gone. We could probably save the main plate. Even our crown, the piston is just completely gone. You could see just how, easily I could push that in and out, but somehow, some way, the automatic module is not fully locked up. Same thing for the balance. A lot of these bridges, a lot of these screws, we're mixing time with immense amounts of heat here. I'm afraid a lot of these screws are just gonna crack at the head. A pretty common question is, why don't these pink things melt? They look like plastic, but they are not. They're actually rubies. So this is what actually holds the oil for all these pivots, and that's what allows your watch to run essentially frictionless. But now take a look at this balance wheel. Now the hairspring, it's completely discolored. Even our microstellas, they're just so black. They're blackened by the heat. Complete balance with hairspring is going to run me roughly $700. I'm surprised the pallet fork actually survived this as well. The case back, I mean, you could see this really nice bluish color, very nice heat treatment going on. And it's just crazy to me how resilient a Rolex is built. Now I understand stainless steel, it has great, heat resistant properties, but I've done a lot of these. Some of them are honestly too far gone. They sat in the fire for way too long and the fire was just too hot. But this one, I'm just seeing signs of life everywhere that I look. Once again, all this exterior stuff is completely cosmetic. I could chemically strip all that and you guys will see the full process. But it's pretty cool to see all this stuff unfold. Now our bracelet, it does have some stretch. It's very unfortunate, but it is what it is. This was a daily worn timepiece. Once again, affected by the fire. Nothing really major jumping out at me, but one of the cool things here is this is actually a 50 stamped Jubilee, which means it was born for a GMT Master. Now the inner clasp blades, once again, we have the correct bracelet code. Same thing for the date code. And just take a look at these inner blades. Once again, I don't know why, I think that this is so cool. We have like a purple, green, gold. It's just a lot of heat treatment going on here. I kind of want to reincorporate some of this back into the final restoration, but I don't know, I'll make that decision more towards the end. Luckily the blade, the clasp, everything is still moving as it should. It's locking, it's closing, and all of our links, we still have full range of motion. Our upper end links, they are correct for this bracelet, for this year. So I mean, this entire bracelet is 100% period correct. Obviously I don't have these parts, I gotta source them, and it's going to take me quite some time. However, I'm going to give you guys a weekly series. I'm going to try and look for all these parts. Maybe they pop up every other week, but I want to give you guys a running cost. How much does a restoration like this actually cost to do? Is it really worth it? And you guys will get to see every single part because this video will be broken up into segments. So you guys will see all the work that gets done, how I physically do the work. Maybe if you're working on something like this at home, you now have a better idea. So let's head over to the board here. Let's start putting up totals. Let's see what the hell this thing is going to cost. So for the GMT 16750 ref, this is what we're going to need. Luckily, we have all the big main components, such as the mid case, the bracelet, but we still need a ton of other things. So we're going to need a dial and hands. Now we need a full bezel assembly. Don't worry about my handwriting. I can read it. That's all that matters. So we need a full bezel. We also need a crystal. We need spring bars and a movement. So the movement that's in it now, a lot of the bridges can be saved. It's actually cheaper for me to go ahead, purchase an entire new movement, and then steal some parts. So this is a 3075 caliber, so we could realistically get a 3035 or even a 3055, which is in the date. The seconds wheels, the train wheels, the bridges, pretty much everything is entirely the same in terms of the lower half of this movement, as the same as the date as well as the date just. Also going to need a new crown slash stem. I mean, I'm sure that this one is probably okay, but I'm going to have to replace the piston in it anyway, so might as well just get a whole new one. Now, lastly, we're going to need a new insert. Once again, not cheap. So far, seems like a very small list. Well, it's going to be very expensive. So a total of 7 main components here. And if I had to put a number on it, I'm going to say I'm going to be in the ballpark of roughly $6,000 to $7,000. That's my current estimate at the start of this video before I do any of the work. I'm going to say $6,000 to $7,000 in just parts alone. So now that is my rough estimate. $6,000 to $7,000. And this is what I'm saying, guys. This is not including my time. This is not including me doing any of this work. This is not including shipping labels that I'm going to have to pay for. This is not including the hours I'm going to spend sourcing each and every one of these parts. Now, on top of that, I have to make sure that everything is running. I have to service it. I have to strip all of the fire damage off of the watch. I have to refinish the mid case. I have to do a ton of other things. So while $6,000 to $7,000 seems like a lot of money, I mean, it definitely is. And on top of the initial purchase price of this timepiece, I'm going to be into it for roughly, let's just say $8,000 to $9,000, if not a little bit more. I really don't know when I'm going to find the dial, and that's the most expensive part here, other than the movement. But now luckily we live in a day and age where everyone is currently melting watches, so I've been seeing a lot of these older calipers like 3035s, 3055s. A lot of them have been getting put up for sale in dealer auctions. You know, somebody just wants to pull out some quick money. So I don't think I should have any problem there. Even sourcing the parts on their own, I could still get them. But it's going to be a lengthy process, and we're going to see in the end, was it actually worth it? I'm going to see this thing through, whether it's worth it or it's not worth it. I think it'll just be a fun video. So guys, follow along. Hopefully I have the next part out next week. And then in the end, you guys make your own decision. Do you think this is a worthwhile project? Am I going to lose money? Am I going to make some money? Let me know down in the comments below. Don't forget, buying, selling, trading, doing whatever. Give me a call, shoot me a text, head right over to the website, horologyexchange.com. A bunch of fresh merchandise was just added to the website. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.